Guest with us.
Hello,
Jason,
hello.
how are you, sir?
I'm good. I apologize for the technical difficulties
Not a
here.
problem. Not a problem. I just had a very interesting experience during our commercial break while I was trying to get things together. Our original guest that we were supposed to have, they of course blew off the interview, which is fine because it's musicians. I'm used to that. People have been doing it for 20 years. And then I had their manager, quote unquote, we'll call them the manager. I always love these band managers. Actually, it's probably his brother. But he calls me and he goes, "Well, what? We want to get this interview rescheduled." And I go, "Perfect. Send me an email. We'll get this rescheduled." And then he goes, "Well, what do I call you?" I said, "I don't care. Flapjacks, pancakes, whatever. I just want to get this interview rescheduled." So I am now known as Flapjacks, pancakes, whatever. We have got a great guest with us. He joins us. We also are joined by the bunny. She is out in the middle of goddamn nowhere. Jason, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. You hear me okay? We got a good enough
I've got you. You're
connection?
fine. You look. If you want to pop on video, that's cool. If you don't want to pop on video, that's fine too. I appreciate you being with us today. Thanks for doing this, my man.
Hey, no problem at all, man. Definitely been curious about the show since we, got in touch through Zach over at MDPR. And
Yes.
so yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, tell me and the bunny here and a little bit of our audience a little bit about what you do.
Well, I mean, musically, I started the band Becoming back in like 1998, and
Okay.
then, we toured around, released an album, and then basically went on a hiatus when everybody started having kids and working day jobs, and then
Yeah.
around 2009 we put out another album, and then another hiatus, and then last year in June of 2020, we released a new album called "In the Name of God," and we've just been busy. Obviously not touring because of the pandemic and all that sort of stuff. But the album's been doing really well, and so yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've got a non-typical um, artist identity infrastructure, I'll call it, right? So
Okay. Okay.
we're not like the typical metal band in any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, we'll get more into that as we go. But what was your
Well, I just wanted you to educate us a little bit about the band and everything that you guys are doing. So this is a really cool concept. You guys have been doing all sorts of different things with music. You all have a great background in music. Tell me a little bit about the name Becoming.
yeah? So the name Becoming, obviously if you look it up in the dictionary, it's got it's the phase of bringing complete from the incomplete, right? It's like a transitory phase, right? So
Yes,
at every
yes.
point of being, you're either things are coming into or going out of existence. Now I decided, obviously I love the band Pantera. They had a song named Becoming, but that wasn't, the reason I chose that band name.
Yeah.
There was actually Sriti Sai Baba, who's like this old school guru, who he partnered up with Hard Rock Cafe a long time ago. But I was on a little vacation over in Europe. I ended up in a Hard Rock Cafe. I was thinking of like, hey, what should the band name be? I'm working on this new project, and I saw this very awesome stained glass window at the Hard Rock Cafe, and he said, "Reality is lost in dreaming, and dreaming is lost in becoming." And I was like, all right, that's it. That's the thing we're doing here. I mean, it's like sort of
That's
hippie,
awesome.
metaphysical, that type of thing. We're not a death metal band or a punk band or any of these type of bands. Let's call it more spiritual metal, right? And
That's awesome.
spiritual, not religious, right? So we're absolutely non-religious. I think if I had to pick a religion, I'd call it omnism. I think there's a little bit of good that you can see in all the different religions, right? But people thought we were a Christian band for a long time, and probably because of the choice of album titles and stuff like that. But yeah, we're all about self-empowerment, self-actualization, shining a little light into the darkness to really help people out there like make it through life, right? I've always loved heavy music, been a fan of heavy music, and the thing that never really sat well with me, especially as a parent nowadays, right? Having 3 daughters, it's like, what are people listening to, and what are artists feeding their audience, and what is that message doing to
Yes.
them, and like, on a
Yes.
subconscious level, right? Because you listen to songs that are all about raping and murdering and killing all the time. Well, you may end up a rapist, murderer, or killer. I don't know. I'm not hating, but I think art is where you find it. Some
It.
people like scary movies, some people don't.
Yes.
But my thing is, I always like to use our platform, for the betterment, right? If I can make a difference in this ugly, messed up world, on a micro level, like one person at a time, by, when someone had a bad day, they put on our album, they turn it up, and then they just feel better, and then they can go out and kick life's ass. You know what I mean? So that's sort
That's
of where I'm
awesome.
coming from. Yeah.
Well, we have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in a broadcast. It is a really cool band, Becoming, made up of members of Anthrax, Exodus, Slayer, Testament, Five Finger Death Punch, Soulfly, Sepultura, and Trivium. This is absolutely an amazing project.
No, no, no. Let me clarify. Those guys aren't in the band. So
Okay.
all those bands are like bands that we really look up to, and
So
really
so
like.
you guys have been influenced by the band, we'll say.
Absolutely. I wish those guys were in my band. Shit, that would be an amazing lineup. But I mean, I'm kind of like a Tom Petty, right? Where it's like I or a Bruce Springsteen, where I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I play guitar,
Yes.
bass, drums, piano, the oud, a sitar, and all these I mean, just all kinds of instruments. And I have certain band members that we won't call it a traditional band, so it's like I'm an artist. I write all the lyrics and all the music, do all the management, all the everything.
Oh yeah.
And I have different people play with me on different songs from time to time. I'm working on some the follow-up album that we're working on right now. I've got a couple of amazing guest drummers. I got Stick Zadinia from Steel Panther doing a bunch of songs with
Awesome.
us, and then I got another gentleman named Mike Tirana, who actually he played with Yngwie Malmsteen and Tony McAlpine and Tarsha from Nightwish. So he's just
Wow.
an epic talent as well. So me, I write the music, the lyrics. I decide the direction and the message, and oftentimes I'll invite others to play with me, and that's been really, really liberating and freeing, right? Because the traditional band is like you got to get a bunch of people together and practice a bunch of nights during the week and deal with personalities and people showing up to practice, trying to waste your time and shit, so I
That's
don't
awesome.
like to work with amateurs. I try to work with pros. That's sort of my thing, right? I'm always out here just trying to put out the best quality lyrical and musical content that I can, right?
We have got a great guest with us today. So Lena, the bunny, you're out there in the middle of nowhere in Washington. Uh,
Right.
what do you have for our guest?
Well, I was asking I,
Uh-oh.
I like, I mean, although Jiggy's personality I really mesh with. I mean, not everybody can mesh with me, but so I get where he's coming from, and I do appreciate how he's choosing to make music now, because that's so very important. I mean, I may listen to some new music, but if it's, depressing or going in the wrong direction, then that's not something I'm going to play every day. And obviously, as an artist, I mean, that's what you want. Yes, you want somebody to just love to, they can't wait to get off work to turn the music on because maybe their day at work wasn't that great, or right? That's kind of what you're going for.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, I think that, when I was growing up, the bands that really got me fired up were like Kiss and then Journey when I was just like, under 10 years old because my parents were kind of like hippies rocking out to Fleetwood Mac and all that. So I was always around music. And then as I got into playing music, it was like Motley Crue, Quiet Riot, Metallica, Slayer. And I was like, yeah. But then, there's 100 other bands or maybe thousands of other bands, in each genre that, just emulate what the top band is doing, right? And a lot of them, they just, I don't want to dog. I want everybody to, make music and, be creative. So I don't judge. And it's just like, I know for me personally, I want to use my platform for the betterment of us as a freaking human race, right? It's like,
Right.
I can't. We don't. We're very, very. Anti-racism, anti-hate. All that type of stuff. I think
Yeah.
if we were to hate anything, we would say we hate the government and politics. And shitty people that just aren't out there trying to like make the world a better place. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. So, hey, what are some of your platforms, and where could we listen to your music at?
Sure. So if you want to, join the Becoming Tribe, you can join us at facebook.com/becoming band. You can, get us on Twitter at twitter.com/becoming band, Instagram.com/the band becoming, and youtube.com/becoming band. And if you go to our actual www.becoming.band site. It'll take you to our Reverb Nation page. You can get 6 free, song downloads that you can play loud and share with your friends. And
Nice.
it's hey, help join the tribe and be part of the consciousness revolution, right? Because we got to elevate the consciousness. I mean, Jiggy, you've got some interesting guests. You have like such a diverse thing of guests on your show.
Oh,
When I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if this is going to be the right venue for us, because I saw this other video where you had some guy who was like kind of like, oh, our values aren't in line with yours, but then
Oh
their
yeah.
values were kind of.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, well,
We have all sorts of fun stuff.
and then the politicians from to every different authors and stuff like that. So I like that you're doing something a little different.
Well, see, over the past week, I have interviewed two guys from the show Highlander. I have interviewed several politicians, whether they be right or left, and I've interviewed a couple metal bands. And earlier today, the Bunny had a white rapper on.
There you
So
go.
we've interviewed a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, it's good. 'Cause it's good not to like. So even with our music, we're trying to be genre free. So we don't
Yes.
sound like Slayer. We don't sound like Limp Bizkit. We got our own thing we're doing, right? I was born and raised here in the Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area. So I grew up, around bands like Testament, Exodus, Forbidden, Death Angel. The old Violence, who later became Machine Head, and that sort of thing. So it's like I always respected all those bands, but then again, it's like I don't sound like any of those bands.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, we are going to play some of your music. Tell me a little bit about In the Name of God. We're going to play this here in a few moments.
Yeah, this is a heavy duty song right here. So In the Name of God is just like the chorus kind of summarizes it. It's like say a prayer for the human, right? Like we all bleed the same, and at the end of the day, it's like the world is in turmoil. So whatever God you pray to, right? I believe that the cosmic consciousness is something that's within all of us, right?
That's
We are
awesome.
the universe experiencing itself, and through consciousness, your spirit breathes and lives, right? And so again, it's like it's a heavy song, but it's just like even some of the lyrics in here, I'm like, hey, religion has always been used as a way to enslave the mind, right? And control the population all throughout
Yes.
history. So,
Yes.
there's ignorance in piety, right? So the lyrics of the song, like I added them to the video so that people who don't understand like the heavy metal screaming when I'm doing that type of vocal can read the lyrics, right? And I've got some pretty amazing responses, right? So, the people who identify with our music and get into it, they're like, yeah, right, I'm part of this consciousness revolution thing, right? And at the end of the day, we're metal for life, right? We're not like, it depends on how you say that or the context of it, right? It's like, oh, I'm metal for life, like as an individual, but like, no, our music is metal for life to keep you, moving forward in this life in a positive, type way, bid you some comfort in there and, help you through the dark times.
That's awesome. So Bunny, do you have anything else for our man here before we let him go and play some of the music?
Uh, no, not really. Just what location are you in? Are you
Uh,
on the West Coast or East?
West Coast, San Francisco Bay Area.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, the Silicon Valley. Was born and raised here. I saw it go from orchards to Apple, right? Like, literally, like all the tech companies are here, and for my day job, I'm out there, working for a cybersecurity company, but my passion and my hobby and what I choose to do in my fun time is make music, right? Because it's one of those things.
That's wonderful.
That's
Thank you. Yeah, that's
fantastic.
another question. Or what have you been doing, with COVID and all like that?
Well,
So,
when the pandemic hit last year, we released the album in June, right? And so there was a little slowdown in the channel getting the physical CDs out and stuff, but we dropped the album on June 12th, and it had great response. It went to number 23 of the top 30, metal albums on radio and that sort of
Wow.
thing. And then we just released a series of videos. We didn't tour, obviously, and so I spent the time like literally gardening and redoing my backyard. My wife and I just, we put in some concrete in the gazebo and started a garden. So I'm growing habaneros, jalapenos, cayennes, and all kinds of herbs, right? So it was a good way to pass the time, and at the end of the day, we just, it's very zen, so yeah, you're not going out to the clubs and all this stuff. I mean, it's kind of scary to think that, like, I don't know, I don't want to get into the vaccine versus anti-vaccine or mask versus non-mask, but it's just like the reality is, no matter which side of it you're on, it's bad out there. It's dangerous, and I had a few friends that got COVID. I know some people that died of COVID. So if somebody says, "Oh, it's not real," then I guess they didn't have anybody they know die from it. So it's definitely. I'm hoping that they'll get it under control, but I think that I keep hearing this term, the new normal. Well, I don't think we know what normal is yet because it's still in flux, right? Every day I turn on the news and I look at the news and I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell's going on in this world? It kind of it's kind of sad, right? So uh, again, I make my music to get it out there to people so that they can get rid of that sad feeling about hopelessness and what's going on in the world and be like, you know what, I'm gonna make a difference. I'm gonna, as my friend Sticks It In Ya from Steel Panther says, he says, let's kick today's ass in the balls. So, shout out to Sticks,
Okay.
for just, being an awesome guy and all that sort of stuff, and just, you got to look at the world. You can get upset about the way things are. You can change your perspective and try to do something about it. So that's my call to action for everybody out there. You want to join the Becoming Tribe, be part of the consciousness revolution, be metal for life. Get out there and, represent.
rock on.
Well, that is fantastic. Well, Lena, I'll be back with you here in just a few, and
Okay.
we are going to play some of your music right now. And Jason, thanks for doing this, brother.
Hey, really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and best of luck with the show. And keep being out there and being you, and doing what you do, man. Like, don't worry about shitty band managers. Don't worry about crooked politicians, because at the end of the day, a lot of people everybody, there's a lot of selfishness and vanity in the world, and a lot of people just, they're gonna shit on what you do. Just keep doing what you do. My rule is, and my wife and I, we talk about this. It's like, you know what? If it doesn't bring me joy or make me money, I ain't got time for it. You know what I mean? I really don't. So, do what brings you joy. Do what makes you some money so you can support yourself and live in this world, and just get out there, enjoy life, because it's short. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you, man. I will talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
There he goes. Bye-bye. And Becoming in the Name of God. That is the track. And we are going to play it right now here on our world famous KJAG Radio. Love it. That is Becoming. We are going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we have got more coming up on the other side. It is Your world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast back here in a few moments. Incredible new marketing partner today at Transmedia Worldwide.